Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right into this one. All right. Yeah, 3 ideal coaches for teams after this year. Don't get mad. I can just go ahead and tell you there's a lot of sensitive people out there for these 3 different teams. And you've heard me say this before. If you're somebody that's hypersensitive, talking about future events could upset you, especially if those future events don't go the way you want them to, this is not the video for you. Humongous. Tell them.
Just walk away.
Yep, Humongous always knows best. Sometimes you need to save your feelings, protect them, and not watch a video like this. Just go to your safe space. Everything will be fine.
Everyone likes me and thinks I'm great in my safe space.
My safe space.
All right, for the rest of you, let's talk about this. Now, the first fella I want to talk about is Dan Mullen for South Carolina. Shane Beamer, look, he may survive this year and go 6-6. I've got him with a record of 4-8, basically because all of his games, he's going to have 8 games where he's going to be the underdog. But you're not going to lose every game that you're an underdog. And the 4 games that I've got him winning, he should win easily. I think the toughest of those 4 is Vanderbilt. So he's going to win 4 for sure, probably 5 or 6, and maybe save his job for another year. But he'll be squarely on the hot seat after that. And Dan Mullen, I think, will be available after this year or after the next year. I think he's just basically doing ESPN or something. And Dan Mullen was a great offensive coordinator, won 2 national championships with Florida, and I guess that was with Urban Meyer. Yeah, he was there from 2005 to 2008. They won 2 SEC titles and 2 BCS titles. And then, of course, he spent 9 years at Mississippi State. And you can see here, he was very successful. First year, he was 5-7, never had a losing record at Mississippi State. As you can see, one year he won 10 games. He won 9 games a couple of times. And then he got hired at Florida. Started out great, went 10-3, then 11-2, then 8-4, and then they fired him at 5-6, which is a little bit odd because Billy Napier has had 2 losing seasons in a row, and they hadn't fired him. So we'll see if he makes it this year. Tough schedule. But anyway, I thought he would be ideal for South Carolina. I can go ahead and tell you, Tennessee wanted him. We tried to hire him before we hired, I'll get in trouble for saying this name, Jeremy Pruitt.
You big dummy. You're a big dummy there.
Yeah, we were trying to hire Dan Mullen, which I think would have been a great hire. If you're winning at Mississippi State at a high level, you can coach anywhere. So, and he had 2 good years at Florida, but he got in trouble because he wasn't recruiting hard enough, and then the team kind of turned on him, and things got a little bit ugly. But I think Dan Mullen would be a really good fit for South Carolina. He's an offensive guru. He's always got a good quarterback, and he's the type of guy that South Carolina needs. He's a great X's and O's guy, and he knows the Southeastern Conference really well, and I think he would fit in the culture there. Now, for me, it'd be better if Shane Beamer, and I get this, Tennessee Vols fans, calm down. It would be better if Shane Beamer hung around for multiple reasons. First of all, if there is any connection between Connor Stallions and his staff, I don't know that it would be him, but maybe his staff, I want him to be there. But I don't know that he'll survive either this year or next year, and Dan Mullen, I think, would be a great hire for South Carolina. Now, is he as good as Steve Spurrier? No, but Steve Spurrier was an offensive coordinator and a very successful one. Went to Florida, was successful. Then he tried to go to the NFL and failed, but came back to South Carolina and had them winning 10 games a year. Dan Mullen is kind of he would be a pretty decent pick for y'all. He really would. That's who I would hire because he's got a really good track record. And he had 1 bad year at Florida, 1, and it wasn't that horrible. I think they were, 5-6, and they fired him. Every other year, he's had a winning record. And you're going to can a guy for life over that? When he won for 8 straight years at Mississippi State, had winning records, I think he deserves another shot, definitely. All right, now we're going to talk about the Florida Gators and Billy Napier. He's already had 2 losing seasons in a row. That happens to correspond with Dan Mullen's 1, so they've had 3 losing seasons in a row. And I'm very sorry to hear that because I do care about those Gators. Yeah, I do. Anyway, if he has another losing record this year, they're probably going to have to just pony up the $25 million or whatever they're going to owe him. and make him very rich and just let him go retire and do whatever he wants to do. Now, another guy, I'd prefer he stayed. I'd much rather have Billy Napier at Florida than having dadgum Lane Kiffin move over to Florida. I've got to agree. At first, I was kind of wanting that because I thought, man, Josh Heupel versus Lane Kiffin, Tennessee versus Florida, it'd be almost like Fulmer versus Spurrier again. Two very different personalities, obviously, than what we got now. But I just thought that'd be fun. But the more I think about it, I kind of like having Billy Napier at Florida. I think I'd like to see him win just enough games, maybe 6 games this year, which would certainly get him another year, given the horrible schedule they've got. If you've not seen this schedule, it is a nightmare.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, it's just a joke how bad it is and how tough it is. So if he survives this, if he gets 6 wins, he should not be fired because that'll get him to a bowl game, and they don't want to pay $25 million. And he's got DJ Lagway waiting in the wings, his quarterback, who I think could help them a lot. And that's nothing against Graham Mertz, who's a solid quarterback, but, he's not a difference maker. So Lane Kiffin to Florida. Now, Ole Miss, calm down, Ole Miss. I get it. But look, if you think he's going to stay with you long term, that's not who the guy is. He's a job jumper. He certainly, look what he did to Tennessee. Jeez. You talking about stabbing a team in a state in the back. He flat out did it. And we're never going to forget it. I'll go ahead and tell you. But Florida would be, it feels like he's going to wind up there at some point. Maybe not this year coming up, but at some point he's going to wind up at Florida. Unless somebody else grabs him out in the West Coast or something. He could go out there again, get fired on the tarmac. Anyway, now let's talk about Bobby Petrino. He's already the offensive coordinator at Arkansas. And to say that Sam Pittman's on a hot seat, his seat's so hot that he would have to wear asbestos blue jeans to be able to survive it. It's on fire. He's coming off 4-8 record. There's no way they're going to tolerate anything close to that again. Their schedule's tough as can be. And Bobby Petrino, who had success at Arkansas till he had a little motorcycle incident, is right there as offensive coordinator. And what that does, see, that gets the staff and that gets the whole Arkansas community used to having him around. See, he's not causing any trouble. He's not out on a motorcycle doing anything stupid. Why don't we just, make him the acting head coach 2/3 through the season? Then he's already the head coach. You don't really want to fire him, do you? Let's give him a few years. Let's see what he can do. Let's give him a little contract. And Petrino, given his circumstances, he's going to sign a very friendly contract to Arkansas. So that's the obvious choice. I call him the Trojan horse. He is already there. He is the coach in waiting. And I will be shocked if he's not the head coach by the end of the year. I would put it at 80 or 90% chance. Anyway, those are 3 ideal coaches for the future of 3 SEC teams, which is Arkansas, South Carolina, and Florida. Now, again, it'd be ideal for us Vols fans if they all 3 stayed there and everybody didn't do the musical chairs. But it happens every year. You're going to have some coaches get fired. Just count on it. And I just thought those were ideal candidates for those teams. If you have different ones, go into the comment section and tell me what you think about that. Tell me the coaches you think those 3 teams ought to hire in the event they fire their head coach. I'm interested in what you have to say. I might even do a show over something like that. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big sports stories. And, of course, my Vols and your Vols. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 boom. It cost you a dime. Not 1 dime. And it would help me out.
Come on. Come on. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, sure.
Anyway, and right over here's most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.